Getting older is a journey everyone must go through. The longer we live, the more experiences we collect, but we also tend to pick up habits we don't even notice. These habits might seem harmless at first, but they can quietly push people away. Not because we mean to, but simply because very few people are willing to say how uncomfortable it feels. In today's video, I'll share with you 13 common habits that often appear in later years and how they can slowly damage your relationships, even with the ones who love you most. Habit 1, constant complaining. Yes, life gets tougher as we age. Knees ache, prices rise, and technology moves so fast it feels impossible to keep up. But if every single conversation turns into a list of what's wrong, how long do you think people will keep listening? Imagine this: every time you call your friend Linda, she only complains about her neighbors, the weather, or the government. Would you want to call her again? Sharing struggles once in a while is fine, but when negativity becomes your default mode, it drains the entire room. Instead, try talking about something small that made you smile today. A funny moment, a sweet surprise, even something you noticed on your walk. The energy instantly shifts. Habit 2, only talking about health problems. At some point, we all deal with health issues: bad knees, back pain, high blood pressure. Mentioning it occasionally is normal, but if every get-together turns into a medical update, people start feeling like they're in a doctor's office. Of course, your family cares deeply about you, but they also want to hear about the book you're reading, your thoughts on the news, or something that made you laugh. You are so much more than a list of symptoms. One woman admitted her granddaughter used to love visiting, but after every visit turned into a long conversation about medications, she now only stops by during holidays. Habit 3, being overly opinionated. The older you get, the more you've seen wars, love stories, heartbreak, financial struggles. Your perspective matters. But when every conversation becomes my way or the highway, it wears people out. Discussions aren't battles to be won. Sometimes it's enough to simply say, "I see your point, even if I don't agree." Take Mr. Howard, 74, who confessed he drove his daughter away by constantly correcting her parenting choices. What he thought was helpful advice, she felt as constant judgment. Without realizing it, every word he said was pushing her further away. Habit 4, neglecting personal hygiene. This one is sensitive but very real. As we get older, sometimes the motivation or energy to keep up appearances fades. But hygiene isn't just about staying clean, it's about dignity. It's about showing both yourself and others that you still care. When a visitor walks into your home and notices the smell of unwashed clothes or stale food, they may not comment, but chances are they won't be eager to come back either. Keeping yourself and your surroundings fresh is a simple yet powerful way to say, "I respect myself and I value the people around me." A caregiver once shared how heartbreaking it was to watch her father, once sharp, proud, and dignified, suddenly stop brushing his teeth. It wasn't just about hygiene, it created an invisible wall between them. Something as simple as a shower of fresh clothes or running a comb through your hair sends a powerful message. I still respect myself and I want to be close to others. Habit 5, living too much in the past. Reminiscing can be wonderful. Sharing the story of how you first met your spouse or what life was like in the 70s is pure treasure. But when every single chat turns into a trip down memory lane, it leaves little space for the here and now. Your kids want to tell you about their new promotion. Your grandkids want to share their latest song or a hilarious TikTok video. If you're always stuck in how things used to be, you risk missing the magic that's unfolding today. Instead of only telling stories, try asking questions. Stay curious about what's happening in the present. It keeps conversations alive and balanced. Habit 6, criticizing younger generations. We've all said it at some point: kids these days, maybe they dress differently, speak faster, or seem glued to their phones. But if every conversation is just criticism, eventually they tune you out. Remember, your parents probably rolled their eyes at your long hair, loud music, or wild fashion choices, too. That's just the cycle of life. Instead of focusing on what bothers you, shine a light on what's good. Tell your grandson he's creative. Tell your granddaughter she's strong and independent. Building bridges of encouragement is far more rewarding than building walls of criticism. Habit 7, gossiping or meddling. In small communities or tight family circles, the temptation to talk about who's doing what is real. But gossip chips away at trust like rust on metal. And meddling, jumping in with opinions no one asked for, but creates tension and resentment. One man admitted his mother constantly inserted herself into his marriage. She thought she was helping, but her interference caused a painful rift that took years to heal. The truth is, people deserve the freedom to live their own lives. If they want your advice, they'll ask. Sometimes the greatest wisdom lies in choosing silence. Habit 8. Refusing to adapt or learn. Yes, technology can feel overwhelming. Smartphones, online payments, QR codes, it all moves so fast. But shutting the door on learning keeps you locked out of connection. Picking up new skills not only sharpens your mind, it helps you stay close to the people you love. Imagine video calling your grandkids on their birthday or sending them a quick message to say, "I'm proud of you." One woman in her 80s signed up for a basic computer class. Today she plays online chess with her nephew across the country. She said it made her feel young again. The world isn't slowing down, but we can choose to keep walking forward with it. Habit 9. Playing the victim. Loneliness is real, and the pain of feeling forgotten is heavy. Thoughts like, "My kids never visit," "Nobody calls me," "No one cares anymore" are understandable, but living in that mindset only builds more distance. Instead of waiting for others to reach out, try making the first move. Call just to say hello. Send a handwritten card. Invite a neighbor over for tea. Taking the initiative, even in small ways, shifts the energy from helplessness to connection. You can't control others, but you can choose to open your heart, and that choice changes everything. Habit 10. Being financially controlling. Money is always a sensitive subject. Of course, you want to support your children, maybe even your grandchildren. But when financial help comes with strings attached, when generosity is tied to expectations, it no longer feels like love. It feels like leverage. That unspoken message of, "I gave you this, so you owe me," that doesn't create gratitude. It creates resentment. One older gentleman admitted that he lost the respect of his grown children because he constantly reminded them of every expense he covered. In time, they stopped visiting, not because they were greedy, but because every visit carried a heavy weight of guilt and pressure. True generosity means giving freely with no scoreboard. If you can't give with a full heart, it may be better not to give at all. Habit 11. Refusing help. It's tough to accept help. Many see it as surrendering independence. But here's the truth, letting someone help you is not weakness, it's connection. When your granddaughter offers to carry those heavy grocery bags, let her. When your neighbor offers you a ride to the doctor, say yes. People feel good when they can care for others. It makes them feel useful, valuable, and closer to you. Pride can be strong, but relationships matter more. Every yes to help is also a yes to love. Habit 12. Losing your sense of humor. Life can get heavy with aches, loss, and grief, but laughter lightens the load. When you can still chuckle at a silly joke, find joy in the absurd, or smile through the wrinkles, people naturally want to be around you. A joyful spirit is magnetic. One elderly woman used to say with a wink, "I may be wrinkled, but I'm still spicy." She wasn't perfect, but people loved her energy because she made them feel alive. Humor doesn't erase the hard times, but it reminds everyone, including yourself, that your heart is still young. Habit 13. Giving unsolicited advice. This one can be tricky because it usually comes from love. You want to help, you want to share wisdom, but when advice is handed out constantly without being asked, it can feel less like love and more like criticism in disguise. Sometimes people don't want answers, they just want to be heard. If your daughter opens up about her parenting struggles instead of jumping in with solutions, you could say, "That sounds really tough. I'm proud of you." That single sentence can build more trust than a list of instructions. Remember, when advice is truly needed, they'll ask. Until then, simply being present is often the greatest gift. Growing old with grace, aging is a privilege, but aging with kindness, curiosity, and grace. That's what keeps people close. That's what makes your presence feel like a gift instead of a burden. And the best part, you don't have to change overnight. Even choosing to work on just one habit can completely shift how others feel when they're around you. So take a breath, reflect, ask yourself gently, which of these habits do I recognize in myself? If this message spoke to your heart, share it with someone you love. And tell me in the comments, what habit do you see most often? Let's open the conversation together. And as always, stay kind, stay humble, and stay golden.